All right, so that's me. I do everything BCSN. I made this network for the girls in our area, and it's all about softball. And if this is the first time you're watching, it's pretty cool. Check it out. So that's a wagon that I use. You can use any wagon, but it's the one I use. I put all my stuff in it before I go to the field. Now this was in the evening, so there wasn't much sun, so I didn't really use this umbrella. But I use this umbrella here to help with the glare off the Yolobox, especially on the sunny days. Now this is the case that I use to carry everything, and I have an insert that I use as well to help organize it. So this fits pretty much everything that I use. Right now I'm setting up behind the backstop, so I use the fence clip to connect to the backstop, and then I use this newer adjustable arm, and I'm attaching the boom mic, or shotgun mic, whatever you want to call it. That's to pick up the sounds of the game. Then I use GoPro 9 in the back, the backstop for my field view. Then, of course, I'm attaching the HDMI transmitter that I use to help transmit the signal back to the Yolobox. But where I like to hang the camera on the backstop is behind the right-handed batter's box. And the reason why is because that's an area of the batter's box or area of the backstop that doesn't get hit that frequently. And of course, I don't care what kind of fence clip you have or fence mount. If you take a direct hit from a foul ball, most likely that camera's going to move. I have these round tags on all my bags, so everyone knows who's there and whose stuff it is, whatever. More of an advertisement type of thing. And those round tags, you can actually buy them if you want them. I can make them for you, put whatever you want on it. There's a GoPro Media Mod. You use this for the GoPros 9s, 10s, and 11s. It allows you to connect the HDMI to hardwire as well as the auxiliary for microphone. All my batteries are these Romos power banks. They're nice size. They last a good long time. They're not that expensive. When you use the GoPro Labs, all you need to do is you're flashing the BIOS on the GoPro, and it allows you to create these QR codes to adjust the settings. So there's a clean HDMI setting that you'll need to do, and then of course there's another setting for USB heat issues. And I'm not sure if it works or not, but I use that too to adjust the camera. So that's where I'll flip it around and do it on the backside. So there's one card that has settings for those two things. And then now it's just a matter of lining it up. And then after you line everything up, then you plug in the HDMI and then the microphone last. And then this is a fan that I use. Typically, these GoPros do have a tendency to run hot. I take the battery out of the GoPro and just use a direct power source to run it. That helps when you have a battery in the GoPro and you have it hooked up to a power source. It's constantly charging the battery. So that's why it gets really, really hot. So if you take that battery out and just use the power source, then at least you don't have that heat issue to deal with. These do tend to run hot regardless, and especially when you're in the sun, it can beat down on you and really cause heat issues. So this fan that I use, it's just a USB fan, nothing crazy. All it does is I point it to the bottom of the GoPro, and it just is a constant wind airflow over the camera, and it helps cool it down a little bit. The reason why I point it underneath the camera is because that's where all the heat's dissipated from the GoPro. So if you're recording with the GoPro and you can feel the bottom of the camera, it's always the hottest point because that's where all the heat is coming out of. So if you point a fan to run over that, it does help cool it off. Now I'm setting up behind the first base, and just setting up. I have this longer arm that I use, and I have a magnetic fence mount that I use. You can put it on the posts. Of course, I connect the small rig magic arms so I can connect the transmitter, and then there's the fence mount that I use, and I make these, and you can buy them off my eBay store, and just hooking it up. These cameras are Panasonics. These are only 1080p's. When I do move to the 4K streaming, I will have to upgrade these cameras. And then you just hook everything up. They come with a HDMI connection that you plug into the transmitter. The power source plugs into the battery. Turn on the camera and you just line it up and get the view that you want. Now, every field's different, the layout. So, it all depends on what field you're at, on how you're going to line things up. Then I pack everything up and I move to my next destination. Now, so this is the headset that I use. It's a cheaper headset, not that expensive. You really don't need much. Just for the Yolobox Pro, you need a 3.5 millimeter connection. And then I have this stand that I use, and I like it because it has a small footprint, and then you can level it, which makes it easy because a lot of fields in the outfield are very uneven. And then I use the dual camera mount to mount the receivers for the HDMI transmission. I have these tactical bags that I use for all my batteries, so I have several of them. And then this is my favorite thing, this post. It's like a trail cam mount, and there's extensions you can buy for it. So I actually added another extension since I made this video. But it allows you to get the camera up higher, especially if you're trying to get over the fence, if it's a taller fence. And what's nice about it is you can get it over the outfielder's shoulders a little bit better, so they're not in your way. And I use the same camera that I have in the outfield is the same one I use at first base. And then this is the Yolobox Pro. Now, this is the carrying case that I use to help protect it. And I also have the SSD drive, which is a hard drive with all of my files and stuff in it for the GoPro. And it has a small rig connection that mounts it to the stand. Then, of course, you need to set up the cables, the HDMI cables for the transmission HDMI receivers to plug into the Yolobox. And then hook up the Yolobox, you plug in the power, and then you plug in your microphone and headset. Then that's the SSD drive, and then you plug in the 3 HDMI connections. And then you turn on your Yolobox and then line everything up. And then the next part of it is getting the Yolobox working. Okay, so powering up the Yolobox takes a couple minutes. You just hit the power button on it, and it'll eventually boot up and turn on. So here's the Yolobox. Now, as it's booting, it needs to detect the network connection. So once it finds it, then it will connect to the games that you have set up. What I typically do is I'll reuse games, and what that does for you is it helps keep the settings the same. So we'll use one of these games here, and then you click on the 3 dots there, and you click on duplicate, and then it'll bring up this menu, and you just type in a name. We'll just use this as an example and say game 4 here. And then you can schedule a date. Whatever date you want to use doesn't really matter. You don't even need to put in a date, to be honest with you, but we'll just put that and then click on the create button. And what it does is it creates a copy of the previous game. So this is the one that's scheduled. So you go ahead and just tap on it and it will open up in this screen. Right here, you have your options. On the right-hand side, you have your options to connect to YouTube or whatever. You'll have to do this when you set up the device itself, but just by hitting that slide button over, it'll allow you to actually create either a public, unlisted, or a private video. If you click on public, what it will do is it will create the live stream on your YouTube channel, and you'll see it listed there. Once you do, I'll make it private so no one sees it, and then I'll show you what it looks like when it does it. So go ahead and click done, and then what it'll do is, like I said, it'll create that the live feed, it'll create the live feed settings into YouTube environment. Since I had that private, you're not going to see it in the public view. So I need to go into my studio. So you open up YouTube Studio and then go to content, and then look for your live feeds. And these are the live connections that we have. And this is the one that I had created. And all you need to do is go into options and click on edit the title. You can change the title if you want. You can add a description of the game. If you click on this, then you can go into more options as far as getting it ready. So you can adjust the time when it starts or whatever. You can add a thumbnail. So right now you'll just see this thumbnail whenever you're waiting for that event to go live. You can add a thumbnail that's going to change it, and you'll see that thumbnail here. And then, of course, your playlist. I always put them in live feeds. It depends on what you're using or what the games are for, whether they're high school, varsity, youth, whatever it may be. And then you can select your playlist, and that's it. Then you can click save, and it'll save those settings. Then your live stream is set up. So when you do go and you're ready to start the live stream, we can get into that and show you how to do that. Now, on the left-hand side, this is where you'll see what you're actually streaming. And then below, you'll see the different HDMI connections. Now, I don't have those cameras connected, but if you did, you would see the preview, and then each one that you click on, you'll see, whatever they're displaying. So like I said, there's nothing there, so it's not going to really show anything. Now, in the bottom right here, this, I don't use network bonding. Now, the overlays are something that I use a lot of. You can create the logos and shrink them and edit them however you want. These cards that I use, I create all these cards in a program called GIMP. And what GIMP is just it's like Adobe Photoshop. It allows you to make adjustments and changes to anything, create overlays, and add the text and all the colors and everything. It's a free tool, which is nice. It's easy to figure out if you have any type of experience with image graphics. Okay, these overlays. Now, if you want to add overlays, you have them on your hard drive that you connect to the USB-C, and then you go into your hard drive, and it hasn't detected anything yet. So when it detects it, so you'll have all this. These are all the logos that I have in here for the scoreboard, and then you get into your overlays for all your advertisements and all that stuff that you have. Then you just select whichever one you want, and then you go ahead and click done, and then it brings it in, and then you can scale it. I typically use it to cover the entire screen, and then you can name it if you want, however you want to name it, and then that's it. And click done, and then it'll add it as another overlay here that you select. Now, during the games, in between innings, whether the teams are switching on the field or whatever, I'll just go in and use these as a way of my commercials. So these are just different ways that I do this. You could have like paid companies that pay to advertise on your network. I typically don't do that right now. I use my own stuff to advertise. It's working out that way. You can create different sizes. So this overlay here that I'm showing you, you would still see the field in the background. So where you see the black, you would still see the field with that overlay over top of it. So this would be where you can actually add. You can do this. So I'll use these. So you can add overlays where you can see the players and stuff. And I think with the newer Yolobox, this is the Yolobox Pro. I think with the Yolobox Ultra, you might have different options for this. I didn't get to really look at it yet, but I use the GoPro. This is the Yolobox Pro that I create the overlays myself and then have it set up this way. So it's helpful. I think it's a nice feature. This share button here, we were already in here. This is where you set up your streams, whether it's YouTube or Facebook or whatever you want to use. Okay. You can invite guests. I've used this before just to play with it. Like, for example, what I did was I pulled in my daughter into watching the game with me and actually talking. This is the audio mixer. I don't have anything plugged in right now, but this is where you would actually do the audio mixing. Now, each camera will have its own feed. The cameras that I have in the outfield and behind first base, I typically mute. And then the camera behind home plate is the camera that I use for like on the field noises, sounds of the game. And I'll lower that down so you don't hear it loudly, but you hear it enough where it's actually there. And it kind of creates the, you don't have any silence time. So if I'm not announcing or saying something, you'll still hear the game itself play. And then, of course, when I have my microphone and headset plugged in, you'll see an option here. And that I typically use that mostly. So I'll turn that volume up a little bit more just because the announcing is the main part of the network, aside from of course, the video that we do. Okay, so one of the video sources I used was a picture. So this is just a snapshot of a game that I did in the summer that didn't have a scoreboard, so you can actually see the scoreboard and how it works. Turn on the scoreboard. So I use the period they have here for soccer. I just use it for softball. I do one inning. Depending on the inning, I'll go in and change it, whether it's first, second, or whatever. And then you go into scoreboard styling, and this is where you'll change the name of the game, which is up on the scoreboard. We'll just say 8U championship. This was an 8U game. I don't think it was a championship, but it was a 8U game. And then what I like to do is make the text white and then the background black. And I do that for everything just because I want to keep it the same. And the black and white typically stick out on any kind of day that you have streaming. So this one here is team 1, so I'll do the same thing, text white, and then the background will be black. And then you add your logos, whatever you have. And then on team 2, you can change the name if you want. I'm just going to leave it team 2. Same thing, text white, background black, and then you can add your logo to the scoreboard. Actually, we'll do a different team. Then you can move the scoreboard wherever you want. I usually keep it up here in the top left, and then tap anywhere on the screen, and then it stays there. Let me expand it so you can see better. But that's typically how you do the scoreboard, and you keep it up high so it's out of the way, and you keep score. It's easy to do. All you do is, change the number here depending on how many they score, and then you have to keep up with the innings, and then that's it. Now, you do have the option to, where is that option at? You can put the time on the game. So you select the time, and then you select the countdown, and then you go ahead and enter, say, 90 minutes. And then when you start it, you can just click this play button and it'll begin the countdown. You can see it'll count down, and you just leave that run for the entire game. And that way the people who's watching the stream can have an idea of how much time's left in the game. And then, of course, the settings, you can go through and change things. Again, I really don't use a lot of these features. I kind of just use what's in the out of the box. You can change replay settings, and we'll do the replay next, but you can change the speed of it. If you want to slow it down, go to 75. It's not as, it's not game speed, but it's not terribly slow. And then you can do how many seconds you want. Depending on the game, I usually stay with 10. Sometimes I'll go to 15 if it's 8U. 12 I'll use sometimes depending on the situation or the games. But that's that. Yeah, so the replay, what we can do here is when you're actually streaming the game on your videos, there's a replay button up there. And of course, we don't have a video playing, so we get it. But When you see a good play or something that you want to see again, you click on replay, and what it does is from that point that you click on it, it goes back however many seconds you have. So whether it's 10 seconds, 12 seconds, 15 seconds, it'll go back that much and then replay it. Sometimes it's tricky because if you're in the middle of a play, the longer plays typically have issues with it because it's longer than 15 seconds. So if you have a inside the park home run or a play at the plate on a hit, if whatever the case may be, those longer plays are you got to be careful with it. For the basics, there's still a lot of things in here that you can do, but for what I use it for, that's pretty much all that I use it for. Your streaming mode, you can use the Yolobox multi-stream service. What this does is it streams up to the Yolobox servers, and then it takes it down to all the different sources that you use. So if you want to use multiple, like YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, you can just send that one signal up to Yolobox, and then Yolobox will distribute it to the other streams. Okay, so you bring up your Yolobox here, wait till it connects, then go ahead and click on your scheduled game, and it'll bring it up. And then when you have everything set up and ready to go, however you want to do it, whether it's I'll just use this screen here. When you have everything set up and ready to go, all you got to do is click on your Go Live button, and then it will send your live feed. This is just saying that I think I set it up to be 7 p.m. So you just started early, and then it'll go to that live feed that you created, and we're actually live. And what I can do is let me switch over to my screen share, and you can see that it's currently live. All right, so this is live. So I'm actually clicking through the screens, and they should update. There they go. All right, and then when your recording's all done, then just click on this red square, and then that will end the live stream and also end the recording on your Yolobox. So that's how I use the Yolobox for my network. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next week.